Program Officer Installation, Commonwealth Local Government Forum to deliberate a speech on components of creating smart cities. I will request ma'am to keep it short and final.
Thank you. As I said, I'm going to speak really exactly 8 bullet points, not more than that, I promise. Okay, I'm briefly really going to talk about the project that we are involved with JMC under our regional program. When we started off, this partnership project was looking at local economic development and how we could ensure that the city council provides that service to its citizens. And we started off right from scratch, and we started from something going, establishing a baseline study. We did a survey. We went across the city to each of the communities, and we literally combed the town and to find out what were the economic potentials of the city. And our baseline study gave us results saying that there are a number of women, or a large chunk which contributes to the economy of this city, is basically coming from the garment industry. And who's involved in this garment industry are the women in the communities. Now these women are part of the self-help groups. They are informal setups. They are probably microfinance company organized groups, but they all are involved in the garment sector. And then the second potential we found was the tourism, which is absolutely, I'm sorry, but which is definitely much more underdeveloped, and there's huge potential to tap there. What we really realized was, if I speak about specifically industry, as per the Jabalpur Tourism Promotion Council, there's something called a JPTC, it says that this city is the most favorable city for tourism from tourism point of view in Madhya Pradesh, because it possesses natural beauties of hills, water bodies, waterfalls, surrounded with number of historical religious attractions, tiger parks like Pench, Kanha, Bandhavgarh. This is the area where everyone would come. If you look at strategically, a person, for example, like me, who's coming from Mumbai, rather than driving all the way from Mumbai to Kanha, Pench or Bandhavgarh, I would come down to Jabalpur by air, and then I would hire a taxi from here and go and visit all these tiger parks or tiger reserves. What's really happening is, when I land at the airport, I don't find the information anywhere. So I have to heavily rely, or I have to do preparations well in advance. If I have to visit any of these parks, or if I have to go to any of these temples, or to do any kind of tourism. More than often it happens that I come by an afternoon flight, I finish my work the next day, I don't have a flight return back, so I have at least 18 hours in my hand, which I would definitely like to use and see around. But because I don't have any information, more than often, most of the hotels that I have found in this area do not give me that information. For example, if I come to this hotel and I ask them, I want to go to Tripur Sundari temple. People don't know where is Tripur Sundari temple. So, the point that I'm trying to make here is, tourism, immense potential for the city to grow economically. It is one of the major contributing factors. What the council, or when we are designing a smart city and this economic factor, I think what we really need to do is, one, work closely with these tourism councils for the development and improvement of tourism and our own policies around tourism. B, there is a great need to develop professional skills and facilities. The service providers and establishments such as hotels, the transport industries need to enhance their professional skills and services to cater to the tourist needs and demands. Again, a simple example I'll give you. I come down at the railway station. I need to have some information, some code, a basic chart, saying that if you have 24 hours, if you go to this place, 1 hour it will take. If you go to that place, it's about 20 kilometers. And these are the standardized rates. If I'm taking an auto rickshaw, I pay 100 rupees. If I take a taxi, that's a minimum, I pay 500 rupees. But some kind of standardization needs to be there. And this is a very basic thing. It's not a rocket science. It doesn't really require huge amount of efforts or anything. But the city kind of understanding, tapping its potentials and trying out these simple things. Many of the things about traveling industry or tourism industry were already shared in the previous presentations by some of the colleagues. So I'm not really going to repeat what was said. I would rather say that CLJ and as a project partners with Jabalpur, we totally endorse what was said and what was shared earlier. Finally, we would also suggest developing a strategy to attract more tourists through promotion and linking with international tourism circuits. That's something that's definitely going to make Jabalpur as a tourist hub or a tourism point. As promised, I'm quickly going to go over to the garment industry, and I'm just going to kind of share with you what we found. Garment industry is again one of the major economic drivers of Jabalpur, and a significant number of poor women are engaged directly or indirectly with the ready-made industry. You have women who are either producing a whole Punjabi dress, or you have women who are producing the collar of the shirt, sleeve of the shirt, someone is stitching the buttons. But in a nutshell, they all contribute to this garment industry. As of now, the structure is that I'm part of a self-help group, I'm in a community, I'm a homemaker, I'm a housewife. A middleman comes in, a middleman has contacted a bigger garment house or garment industry, comes in with a big tailor and he distributes say 1,000 shirts for my particular self-help groups. Now for those 1,000 shirts, I'm expected to complete those 1,000 shirts as a group in say 7 days. Now if I'm stitching the sleeves, I get paid 5 rupees. I'm stitching the collar, I get paid 7 rupees. If I'm stitching the buttons, I get paid 3 rupees. For example, this is an example I'm giving. Now there is no guarantee for these women who are involved in this particular garment sector for the job. Number 2, they have skills. They were earlier trained under certain schemes and programs to use the old machines, the tailoring machines or the juggi machines as they call it. But times have changed. There's a huge gap between demand and supply. So in 5 days, if I'm expected to give 1,000 shirts, I cannot possibly work on that old juggi machine. There's a need for skill upgradation. Now by skill upgradation, I mean A, I need to be trained on the newer machines. So as a council or as an authority, local government authority responsible for giving employment to these groups, I need to train them on the upgraded machines. I need to create facilities, training facilities for them, keeping in mind that they are going to complete all the household work, finish up everything, and in the afternoon hours they are going to go to that facilitation center or training center. Then they get time of 3 hours, 4 hours to get trained on the newer machines. And we don't really stop there. But after we train them, you kind of also link them to the markets. More than often in enthusiasm, we get scenarios when trainings are done, but the trainings are not really practical, they don't lead to anywhere. So you just probably end up having a certificate, but no job at all. So I guess when we are looking at the garment industry, this is one crucial thing you make. You give them advanced trainings which are very practicable, which are very much employment related object to help them in getting more and more livelihood options for themselves. Secondly, I would also say that a few suggestions that we have made to JMC as part of our training program was setting up an incubation center. And we have got colleagues from South Africa some time ago in Jabalpur who had shared similar examples and stories. Of course, that example was about timber. Here we are talking about garment industry. But in a nutshell, if you look at the principles, it's the same. You start with a group which has no skills or very limited skills. You upgrade their skills. You put them in the incubation center. You train them, you give them experience of making the producers of final products, and then you also link them with your local supermarkets, you link them with other buyers, and then eventually this group which is trained under incubation centers becomes independent, becomes capable enough to go out, move out and start their own businesses. So that's the idea of incubation center and training facility center, which we have been very strongly recommending to Jabalpur Nagar Nigam. And we really hope that in our partnership project we would be able to facilitate that. So thank you so much. With these bullet points, just a few things.